All right, today I'm very excited because I want to talk about competition. I would say I'm a pretty competitive person. I like to play to win. I play for keeps.
I play for keeps.
For me, I feel like in personal life and in business, I don't see the point in doing something if you're not gonna do it well, if you're not gonna do it basically to win. In more than one of the companies that I own and operate, one of our values is to execute with excellence. And that basically is just putting your best foot forward. That value becomes pretty important when it comes to competition in your market. Let me tell you a quick story about a business in our area. I knew someone who owned and operated a business. They were doing really well. They had a lot of brand recognition, a lot of buzz around town, offered a good product, a good service. They had passion behind what they were doing, but it wasn't long before someone with a similar passion moved in not too far from where they were operating. And unfortunately, there was nothing proprietary about what they were doing. And so that competitor that moved into the market took a lot of their market share and caused some issues for them. They were both having to compete and contrast and compare themselves with this other company. And in the end, they didn't stick around. They didn't think the juice was worth the squeeze, so they got out of the market and that competitor won that battle. I don't share that story to scare anybody. I just share it to let you know that there is a lot of opportunity in the market for someone to come in and replicate or do something similar to what you are doing. So how do you deal with that? I've heard people like Gary Vee say they don't care about the competition, they're not even thinking about it at all. And I understand that perspective. I understand let the haters do what they're gonna do and you focus on you. I think there are good things you can glean from that, but I actually have 3 things I wanna share with you about how to deal with competition that have helped me. Hopefully they help you too. Number 1 is going to be do your homework. Whenever you're getting ready to start a business, you want to do your homework and see who else is operating in that space within the market you're planning on entering. If you can be aware of what the opportunities are, what the threats are, who already has market share, how difficult is it going to be for you to convince someone to leave that competitor and come try your service out? If you can evaluate those things beforehand, then you can save yourself a lot of headache by having to figure out a strategy on the fly. So evaluate before you enter. Make sure you do your homework and know who your competitors are, what they do well, what they don't do well, so maybe you can use that later on down the road. Step number 2 is going to be focus on yourself. This is borrowing a little bit from kind of what I've heard from Gary Vee in the past. That is that if you spend too much time focused on what your competitors are doing, then you could be in jeopardy of not spending enough time focused on what you are doing. There is a reason that you're starting this business, whether it's experience, passion, you saw a gap in the market, you want to fulfill a need. Lean into that passion and go after it with all that you have. I have found that whatever you are doing, if you operate with that in mind, that you will experience success, you will experience progress over time if you're patient and you don't get tired of doing the right things. So that is what I mean when I say focus on yourself. Make sure you're checking all the boxes that you should be instead of focusing too much on what someone else is doing. Step number 3 on how to deal with competition is to celebrate your differences. I talked about this a little bit before, but there are some things that you do that no one else can do. There are things that make your business unique. Maybe it's your special touch of how you communicate to your customers. Maybe it's going the extra mile in some way, shape, or form, and those are the things that customers are going to appreciate, pick up on, and celebrate to the world. But you don't want to wait for them to do that before telling other people about it. Do me a favor right now and just take a quick moment, pause the video, write down a handful of things that make your business unique compared to other people in your space. Maybe you've come up with 4 or 5 things that really make you special, and I just want to say, great job. Now, what you're going to do is take those 4 or 5 things and create content around those things. They can be in the form of a video, a post, a blog, a newsletter. There are multiple tools and multiple ways you can communicate your points of difference to the market. A lot of them are low cost but high ROI in that you're going to be communicating the value that you bring on a regular basis to potential customers. They're going to see that, be able to come, taste, and see that your product or service is good, and then it's going to be gasoline to that word of mouth fire that they're going to spread throughout the entire area. Before you know it, other people will be sharing your language of why you're different and why people should choose you to their friends and their family, and you're going to experience that growth that you want to. With all that growth, you won't have time to worry about what the competition is doing any longer because you will just be leaning into everything that you've been gifted to do in your business. I hope these tips have helped. I hope I've been able to give you a little bit of perspective, maybe a different perspective on competition. Let me know if this helped you in the comments, and thank you for hanging out with me. I'm just sharing my tips and the things that have helped me. I hope they help you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.